Now, almost all of England will be in the two toughest levels of measures when the national lockdown ends this Wednesday. But is the tier system the best approach? Well, joining me now is Dr. Bharat Pankhania, Senior Clinical Lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School and an expert in infectious disease control. Good morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. We've talked before, haven't we, about the tier system, about how it's working. What do you make of these latest developments? Because there's this suggestion that millions of people who are in the harshest level of restrictions in Tier 3 from Wednesday, when it comes to later on in December, some parts of the areas could then be downgraded to Tier 2. Are you worried that we might be relaxing these measures too soon with that step?
Well, we have got form on this matter. So we went into lockdown number 1 late, and then we came out early, and then we had go out to eat out to help out, and then we went into second lockdown late again. And now that we are coming out of second lockdown, we have Conservative MPs moaning that their local areas are in high tiers. You need to get real, because lives have to be saved. And if you sort out health, the economy gets saved and sorted out at the same time. So you can't have both. Sort out health and the economy will be sorted out together. So with respect to these tiers, number one, they're very complicated. It would be much better to have a large fire break area, a large regional area in a similar tier, so that you can actually control and proceed with controlling it and monitoring it. And then secondly, you need to maintain it, because come December the 25th, we know that we've got a relaxation, and that again may put case numbers up.
Is there a difficulty, though, when you look at some areas being lumped in with the county, for example, that they're in? We're looking at the whole of Lincolnshire's facing Tier 3 restrictions, but some places, such as South Holland, they went into lockdown under Tier 1. They have the lowest infection rate in Lincolnshire of 139 cases per 100,000. And that's a lot lower than the worst affected area in the county, which is East Lindsey at 373. So quite rightly, the people in South Holland must be feeling frustrated about the fact that they're living under such harsh restrictions, because somewhere in their region there's a much higher area. Is there a worry that when people feel they're in an unfair tier, that the compliance won't necessarily be there?
Well, we've got to get our communication right. And that's another thing that we haven't done very well. And what we need to tell our people is, look, whilst you are in a low tier, if you wish to keep it that way, you need to have restrictions, because just around the corner from you, a few miles down the road, you've got a tier which has got a lot more cases, a lot more number of people ill, hospitals filling up, and therefore it is in your own self-interest to maintain restrictions with a higher tier, and it will look after you, it will protect you. So it's a way to look at it, and the way to give the message to people that this is for your own benefit. It will look after you, it will save your lives.
I mean, everyone's worried about the fact that there could be a third national lockdown if the figures don't work out. We do know, though, that cases have gone down by a third during this lockdown. Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, said that they were doing all they can to avoid another national lockdown. But do you fear that that could be on the horizon if the compliance isn't there, if these measures don't work?
Well, it's inevitable, because this is a person-to-person spread of infection. And if we are gathering over Christmas period, as the green light has been given for this to happen, people will start to gather before and after as well. And then once you have a surge in number of cases late January, early February, we will not have by that time fully deployed the vaccines, and therefore case numbers are expected to rise. And therefore, it's even more important that whilst we head towards Christmas, that we maintain as much restrictions as we possibly can.
OK. Dr. Bharat Pankhania, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.